What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist.
And Gersh 1 finally back together.
Yeah, we ended up having to go into the warp to come out into the past so we can be together again. But you're seeing this in the future, but it's our present.
And if that didn't make any sense, then join the Ordo Cronus of the Inquisition, and it'll still not make sense.
But today we're back at it, answering more questions from our past to your future present in another episode of For the Greater WAAAGH.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. There's a fly on my keyboard, and it's annoying.
It's a big fly.
It's a really big fly.
That's like a Nurgle fry.
Nurgle fry.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What are they called?
Brot
Flies?
Brot flies?
Brot fly? Yeah.
We're hungry, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. This question comes from Mohammed Mir. How good is a Tempestus Scions soldier compared to a Sisters of Battle, or yes, Adeptus Sororitas? In other words, could a Tempestus Scion, I should have just read your question, kill a Sororitas, or Sororitas, as some people say?
That's an interesting question, because Scions, they're supposed to be like the cream of the crop of the Astra Militarum. And that's saying something, because like if you think of like Catachans, the, what are the other ones that are pretty tough? Cadians, I guess?
Yeah, Deathcore of Krieg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lostroians,
yeah. The interesting part about the Tempestus Scions, well, yeah, we'll continue to talk about, they get trained in the Schola Progenium. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think so, yeah.
And if you are the top of the top in your class, like you said, you will join the ranks of the Tempestus Scions. So on top of like a very small pool, it gets even smaller, and then you reach the Tempestus Scions. And you actually start off at the same time as the Sisters of Battle. So if you're a female and you were, let's say your parents were somehow connected to the Imperial High Command, but they die and you're an orphan, you go into the Schola Progenium, and then if the convents, they want you, they take you out of there, and then you go and train with the Sisters of Battle. And obviously the Sisters of Battle vary. Yeah. Because it's not just the Sisters of Battle, it's also
different orders.
Yeah, the Hospitallers. That's not how you pronounce it.
Hospitallers. That's a fun word.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have like the Order of the Evanchales. What is it? The
Bloody Rose.
Bloody Rose, yeah.
That's a popular one.
Nuestra Señora de Buen Consejo.
And all those good ones.
Yeah.
That's funny. I bet in the Spanish version of that, it sounds pretty cool.
Our Lady of Good Counsel.
Basically. And what you have is so they're both human. So you have the Adeptus Sororitas and the Tempestus Scions. Both were trained in the same school, the Schola Progenium. And the only difference is the training that the Tempestus Scion receives is more like infantry. No, not infantry. What's the ones that go behind the enemy line?
Oh, like Spec Ops.
Yeah, like Special Ops, whatever that's called. And then you have the Sisters of Battle, who are more Imperial Creed, religious, but also violent.
Yes. They pretty much have the same weaponry, really. Yeah. Well, I guess you have more las weaponry with the Scions. Right. And you have more like bolters with the Sisters. Yep. But on that regard, they're pretty much just really tough humans, except when you get to like the hymns and like the prayers to the Emperor, that the Emperor will bestow miracles on his ladies. Yeah. Like you saw in the 9th edition trailer. She gets blasted by a freaking Necron weapon that should have turned her arm to dust and the rest of her as well. But no, her faith in the Emperor is so strong, it stopped science.
Maybe. I still think it's the rosette.
But if it is, that's like a shield. It's like a, what's that thing called?
Like a Gellerfield?
Yeah, no, not a Gellerfield. It's like a Rosarius. Yeah. They work similar to that, but you didn't see that though, because it legit hit her.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it again. But yeah, that does bring up a good point. Faith is stronger with the Sisters of Battle. And I think faith in a special operation, or not even a special, just in any type of interaction, you always go further. Like if you tell yourself you can do it and then you do it, then you do it. Right. Whereas if you're in the Tempestus Scions, it's like you're being ordered to. And I'm pretty sure Tempestus Scions still have some form of commissar-like figure at some point in their lives or in their careers, I guess. So, yeah, I think the faith in the Emperor and the faith in themselves to fulfill the Emperor's will is stronger with the Adeptus Sororitas, and that's a level up from the Tempestus.
Right.
And armor. I feel
that's
like
true.
The armor that the Sisters of Battle carry compared to the flak armor that, if they carry flak armor, to the Tempestus Scions is way better for the Sisters.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like just in terms of like army-wise, like actually on the 9th edition battlefield, the Sisters got a lot going for them so far. Like obviously codices haven't been released for 9th edition yet, so it's kind of, it might change back, when that happens. But currently I think the Sisters are in a better, more meta type playing field.
Yeah, the big challenge too comes where if you look at the Tempestus Scions, they're trained in a very specific, like las guns. What are they called? They're las cannons, I think they're called, right? Their main weapons.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a las something.
But that's all you have. Like that's all they usually on the tabletop. That's all you see them with. Whereas with the and then obviously they're heavy weapons. But when you look at the Sisters of Battle, like you said, they're diverse.
Yeah.
Especially with this new codex.
Bolt pistols, chain swords, power swords,
whips, chains.
Yeah, things that excite me.
Oh yeah.
And not just that, but they got Saint Celestine.
Yeah.
What do the Scions got?
Danny DeVito.
That's true. That kind of is a saint right there.
Yeah. But Guilford Godfrey is with the Sisters.
That's true.
He's always been with the Sisters.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to make that difference. Do you side with Gilbert or do you side with Danny? I don't know. My money's on Rob Schneider.
Yeah. Always put your money on Rob Schneider. But yeah, it's a toss. It could be a toss-up, but I think... Well, no. I think for the most part, it's the battle will go to the Sisters of Battle.
I think faith is what pushes the scales in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Oh, Jinx, you owe me a soda.
I thought it was pinch poke. You owe me a Coke.
I don't carry Coke no more.
Damn.
Yeah, and not since the accident. Comment down below if you guys want to know what the Coke accident was.
This next question is by Zadrigo. Would you describe Commissar Yarrick as being brutal yet cunning, or cunning yet brutal? So Yarrick is the dude that's also part of the Astra Militarum, who's been hunting down Gaskell and his orc boys for a hot minute. And it's like that kind of like Tom and Jerry type thing, where Yarrick's like, ho, 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 I got you. And then Gaskell's like, no, I got you. And it just goes back and forth. But more badass, more grimdark than that.
Yeah. It sounds like a comedy. It kind of is, right? Yeah. Whenever you deal with orcs. Mm-hmm. I think he's very cunningly brutal.
No, he's more brutally cunning. Yeah. Because he's got a freaking power claw that he implanted into himself. That's freaking brutal. But he's more cunning than anything. He
had to slob on a knob in order to get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was basically similar to like Corn on the Cob. Mm-hmm. You had to check in with me because...
You got to do your job.
Right. Yeah. Juicy was his name before he changed it to Yarrick.
Yeah, his story's pretty cool. That 40 Facts video is an older video, but you should definitely watch it just because it's cool to learn how he got it. He fought the knob, and like his capture was pretty epic. Mm-hmm. So yeah, check out that 40 Facts video. It's really nice.
Yeah, and that's just crazy to show you just what a regular human can like keep up with orcs. Somewhat.
Yeah.
Plot armor has a lot to do with it.
Or like even the regiment, the Orc Headhunters. Mm-hmm. That's a really good regiment. That's like, like they even use sluggers and choppers. Not that a chopper really.
Yeah,
it's just
an axe.
Yeah, but yeah. Next question.
This one's by Caboose NZ69. His question is, well, he's got 3 of them, but let's start with the first. Would you guys still have gotten the Indomitus box set if it was only just the Necron models?
No. I don't play Necrons.
Yeah. The thing about the Indom box set that just makes it so, like, perfect is the Space Marine side.
Yeah.
Obviously. The Outriders are crazy good. You've got those freaking 2-shot Meltas that are really good. And not just that, but every model in that box set is a brand new sculpt. Primaris are the freaking Space Marines that have just been getting love after love from every. Like, it feels like every 2 weeks, it's Primaris are getting this, Primaris are getting that. And then it's like, oh, here you go, a new box set with all new Primaris and new rules. And it's like, if you're playing Primaris, you need this. So that's what sold the box, not so much the Necron half.
Right.
But for all you Necron players, this is your edition. Like, new models. You get the freaking Void Dragon, the Silent King coming out at the same time, which just blows my mind. Why would GW do that? That's like putting all your Necron eggs in one basket.
Maybe it was a sign that like the Necrons were going to be like... Because, you know, if you look at the old Necrons, what named characters do they have? They just had Imhotep the Stormlord,
right?
Trazyn the Infinite. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it, right?
Well, like the main ones. There's like other ones there too,
but the ones, you make it, but you have to kit bash. So now you actually have. Oh, and then the Catan,
right?
Catan's
Nightbringer, Deceiver.
Now that you have the Silent King, and now that you have the Void Dragon.
Well, not yet technically, but they're coming soon.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be like, kind of in the same level as like Space Marines or any other.
But it's like, what do Necron players have to look forward to now? I mean, there's a few more named Catan that aren't out yet, like the Burning One, the Outsider.
Yeah.
But still, like, they weren't as big as the freaking Silent King and the Void Dragon.
Yeah. Now they're just gonna enjoy destroying things. Maybe I don't know if they're good in the actual tabletop. I don't know if we even know. Right. Like the community knows how good certain armies are for 9th edition. It's kind of fresh and new.
I mean, there has been a few tournaments that have been played. But because of the whole pandemic and everything, it's kind of hard to see where armies stack. But Salamanders are doing great.
Yeah. But yeah, I probably would not have bought the Indominus box if it was just the Necrons.
Right. Same. And I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have sold out if it was just Necrons.
Yeah, no. Next question. That would have been expensive.
Yeah. Well, he's got a part 2 and part 3, so we'll quickly answer them.
Yeah.
Which would be more powerful? A Cortana level AI from, like, Halo, or a Warhammer 40k AI from any of their races? So Cortana seems to be kind of OP because you just like put her anywhere really, and she'll just like does what needs to be done. Where the AI from 40k kind of depends on what race you're at. Obviously, humanity had fully sentient AI, and you saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side, look at the Tau. They got near sentient AI, and they're doing great.
Yeah, I think that the Men of Iron would have to have a boost in order for them to be like that powerful. So yeah, definitely the Halo. Even though I don't know too much about the Halo lore, I think it would be like a Halo level a Men of Iron.
Right, that'd be great.
It seems like the Men of Iron were very individualistic. So you would have kind of like what you have with the Blackstone Fortress, where it's that one AX whatever Men of Iron. But then you also had like individual like continent size AI machines, which were pretty cool. But it was just that, like, it wasn't a hive mind yet. Otherwise, they probably would have been destroyed. You guys should check out our 40 facts on the Tempestus galleries, and that kind of like demonstrates how there was like little AIs that were still strong enough to take down the salamanders, the early salamanders. And then there was like gigantic earth destroying or crust destroying machines of AI and stuff like that.
Like terraforming machines and stuff
there you
like
go.
that, yeah. Crust destroying sounds good.
Crust sounds good right now, yeah.
And last question from the student is, what anime would the Inquisition approve for the Imperial citizens to watch?
Attack on Titan.
Anything hentai related.
That's true.
Especially if you're in a pleasure world.
That's the only thing that they would show.
Yeah.
On national broadcast news. But I think Attack on Titan is a really good example of like humanity fighting basically the evils of who knows where. Because the humans from Attack on Titan don't know where the Titans come from, right? Yeah.
At least, well, spoilers. That's all I'm going to say. Because it's definitely like a freaking... I'd say this is probably going to be a 10 out of 10 anime once it's all said and done. At least that's the way it's looking for me.
That's what they said about Game of Thrones. And look what happened
true.
to Game of Thrones.
They didn't stick the landing.
Terrible landing. Still frustrates me to this day.
You don't speak of that.
No. Next question comes from Twist Jane. How would the 40k galaxy look like today if the Imperium weren't so xenophobic? For example, the interactions between the Tau Empire or the Silent King.
That's interesting, because when I think of humanity not being xenophobic, I would hope that Terra would become like the headquarters for the Cabal. Obviously, the Cabal was like was it kind of secret? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like basically a secret organization where humans and Xenos got together for the betterment of the universe, or the galaxy at least. Whether that meant this planet's got to die, this High Lord's got to get,
effed up. Mm-hmm. Got to teach them a lesson.
They did what needed to be done regardless of the consequences, which would be cool because we get to see more important Xenos such as Eldrad and other minor species that aren't very known as a race, but still pertinent within the Cabal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do see that if humanity was more friendly towards other races, yeah, we would see that. But I think humanity would try to use that power to suppress other species.
Hands down. I mean, that's just what humans do.
Yeah, I think the Tau Empire probably wouldn't have been as strong. Like, the whole greater good wouldn't exist. It would just be more of like the Tau are there and they serve as like a technological force, not so much a fire warrior type of caste.
You're more of a supplement than anything.
Yeah. And then you also say, what would it have been like with the Silent King? I don't know if do you think humanity would have tried to negotiate with the Necrons? I don't think that's even possible.
No. Like, the Necrons seem to be a very, like, they got their sights on something and they're going to do what needs to be done regardless. The Silent King would be looking more for his own people than, allying with humanity and keeping them, protected. So it'd be like the same thing that happened when they allied against the Tyranids with the Blood Angels.
Yeah. Stupid fly.
Yeah. Nurgle. Leave.
Where, yeah, it was like they asked for a relationship, but in reality it was just the Silent King testing the Blood Angels to see how strong they were. Still disappointed that the Silent King doesn't look like a swole Arnold with a beanie.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. It's an Arnold beanie, no shirt, Silent King.
Yeah. But that's what GW does really well, is that they make their villains super villainy, like to the point where, like, even if they did try to communicate, how are you going to communicate with the hive mind? How are you going to communicate with the orcs? They don't give a fuck. They're going to kill you. So xenophobia might even be birthed because the Xenos are so negative and evil. They're the only good guys, quote unquote good guys, are the Tau, and maybe the Eldar.
Maybe.
Craftworld, but Craftworld are cocky, and isn't that evil in its own right?
I guess. So the only true good Eldar are the
dead ones.
I was gonna say the ones that ride dinosaurs, but okay.
Yeah, that would be cool. But no, because they're like Amish. How do the Amish exist? Like, what's their deal? Like, does the government heads have anything to say about that whole thing?
Well, they got their own community, so I mean, I'm assuming the government has something to do with it.
But it's like, let's say, like, can we move in where the Amish live?
No, I don't think so.
But why? Like, it's America.
Oh. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's weird. But yes, weird. I think that's the problem that we would run into if it was the Exodites. Because the Exodites would be like, no, this is our, what do they call them? Maiden worlds? So this is our maiden world. And humanity would be like, well, I want to move in there. And
you can't have our dinosaurs.
Yeah. then we fight.
Yeah. And it's like, well, what if we trade you a shirtless Arnold with a beanie? I'm like, oh, you could have one Stegosaurus.
I would ride the Stegosaurus all night.
Unlike the spiny bits?
Yeah, no, I would not ride the spiny bits.
Wait, Stegosaurus, that's the one with the...
long neck, no.
I thought those were Brachiosaurs.
I think there's another Stegosaurus. Or, I don't know.
Littlefoot.
I would ride Littlefoot.
When he's a kid?
Well,
he's like your size.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll fit.
That's like you riding yourself.
No, a baby Littlefoot is probably the size of, like, a car. Actually, I didn't watch those movies.
You didn't watch Land Before Time?
No.
Was that before your time?
It was before my time.
Looks like we got to go back into the warp to come out into the past.
So I can get those TV... Well, remember the cassettes?
Mm-hmm.
Those were the days.
I used to know a dude named Cassette.
What happened to him?
Let's just say they weren't kind and they didn't rewind.
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, and hopefully that botfly isn't. Oh, there's two now.
There's two. Yeah, they're duplicating.
Oh man, we got to go back into the warp. Sound Alchemist,
Gershwan,
and we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I never had that much to lose.